There's a reason why people feel unsettled in the presence of a chosen one, an ancient, soul-deep reason. These individuals don't just walk into rooms, they shift the entire frequency. They don't just speak, they awaken buried truths and stir hidden fears. A chosen one is not here to please, they're here to disrupt illusions, expose lies, and radiate a light so pure it blinds anything born from darkness. You don't simply meet a chosen one, you feel them. Your spirit either aligns with their presence or recoils from it. And those who choose to oppose them, who try to dim that light, soon learn that they weren't fighting a person. They were fighting divine order itself. Messing with a chosen one isn't just a personal attack, it's a spiritual violation. It's a disruption of the celestial balance, an attempt to rewrite a destiny that was designed in the heavens long before this world knew your name. The universe doesn't stay silent when its sacred vessels are threatened. It speaks through karma, through mirrored pain, through divine intervention that no man can escape. A chosen one may remain calm, quiet even, but make no mistake, behind that silence is the storm of 1,000 angels, ready to move the moment their soul is unjustly disturbed. Those who rise against them don't just lose, they unravel. In this message, we're diving deep into the brutal reasons you never, ever mess with a chosen one. This is more than warning. It's revelation. It's spiritual instruction for those with eyes to see. If your soul has ever been targeted for simply being different, drop a yes in the comments to claim your protection. Type, "I walk in divine justice," if you know you're chosen. And please, like this video and subscribe, so you never miss a word meant to sharpen your purpose. Let's begin. A chosen one carries an energetic blueprint unlike any other. Their soul is encoded with frequencies that ripple through both seen and unseen dimensions. Simply by existing, they disrupt spiritual stagnation and dismantle hidden agendas. The universe has woven into them a vibration that commands order from chaos and light from shadow. Their presence is magnetic because it activates truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable. And so, those who attempt to attack or manipulate a chosen one are never just dealing with flesh and blood. They are stepping into an energetic battlefield they cannot see, where every move they make is responded to by higher intelligence. The laws that govern ordinary people do not apply to the spiritually anointed. The chosen operate under divine jurisdiction, and what touches them must first pass through the gates of heaven. You see, when someone attempts to harm or dishonor a chosen one, the universe doesn't react with delay. It responds with precision. It's not always immediate, and it's rarely theatrical, but it's always exact. The consequences may come through disrupted plans, personal loss, or unexplained spiritual heaviness that won't go away. That's because the energetic field around a chosen one is set to mirror any intention directed at them. If it's love, peace floods in. If it's deception or harm, the weight of that energy returns multiplied. And the person who thought they could manipulate or sabotage a chosen one quickly finds themselves trapped in the very web they tried to weave. Divine justice is never loud. It's just undeniable. It's written into the ether, and when that justice is triggered, nothing can stop its unfolding. This isn't superstition or spiritual fluff, it's alignment. The universe is structured to protect certain souls for the sake of the greater plan. A chosen one is not just an individual, they are a node of spiritual architecture. They are connected to ancestors, angelic realms, sacred timelines, and divine instruction. Messing with them is like touching the root of a divine tree. It shakes every branch above and every spiritual force connected below. There are people right now facing storms in their lives, not realizing that their downfall began the moment they touched a chosen one with the wrong intention. The law is clear. What you do to the least of these, you've done unto the divine itself. and the divine always collects its debts with interest. This is not about fear, it's about respect for the spiritual order that holds the universe together. Karma doesn't miss. It may be patient, but it is not forgetful. The chosen ones often remain silent in the face of betrayal or injustice, not because they are weak, but because they understand the sacred law of cause and effect. They know that vengeance is not theirs to take, because the hands of the divine are already at work. They've seen it too many times to doubt it. The very ones who mocked or slandered them come back, broken by life, unable to explain why everything started falling apart. But the chosen one knows. They don't gloat, they don't retaliate, they simply remain still, knowing that the universe has eyes that never blink. Karma is not always loud. It can be silent suffering, inner turmoil, doors that close and never reopen. And when it comes to those who touched a chosen one wrongly, karma does not hold back. Remember the story of Haman in the Bible, the man who plotted to destroy Mordecai, a chosen vessel of divine purpose. Haman built gallows for another man's downfall, but was hung by them himself. That is the pattern of divine retribution. The traps laid for the righteous often become the very pits where the wicked fall. And history repeats itself again and again. Those who plot against the light find themselves swallowed by the darkness they invoked. Spiritual principles are not poetic, they are precise. What you do in the shadows is echoed by the heavens. And when you strike at someone covered by God, you summon a storm you cannot measure. Chosen ones don't need revenge. They are vengeance in stillness. Their power is their purity, and their vindication comes wrapped in silence and certainty. What makes it even more dangerous to target a chosen one is that the backlash rarely stops at the initial offender. The energetic correction extends beyond the individual to the systems, families, or communities that supported or celebrated the harm. This is why those who betray a chosen one often witness a chain of chaos, not just in their own life, but in the lives of those around them. The divine does not just defend, it cleanses. The ripple effects of spiritual injustice cannot be contained, and the chosen one, without even raising a finger, becomes the epicenter of divine recalibration. Their suffering is never in vain. It's a trigger point for cosmic alignment. And anyone who chooses to disturb their peace ends up disturbing their own destiny. You cannot curse what God has blessed without cursing yourself in the process. But here's the paradox. Chosen ones don't just absorb harm, they transmute it. They have been gifted with an alchemical soul. When people throw bitterness, they return it with grace. When they're slandered, they respond with silence rooted in power. This doesn't mean they're passive, it means they're elevated. They know that every attack is a hidden opportunity for spiritual promotion. They've learned to make peace with rejection, to dance through disappointment, and to turn every insult into internal fuel. What should have destroyed them only polished their soul's radiance. And that's what terrifies their enemies the most. You can't break someone who turns brokenness into beauty. You can't shame someone who already died to ego. The chosen ones become stronger in the fire, and the ones who lit the flame are the first to be blinded by it. A chosen one doesn't just survive adversity, they reconfigure it. Their spirit holds the sacred technology of transmutation. When darkness is aimed at them, they don't deflect it in fear. They absorb, alchemize, and release it transformed. This is why many who try to curse them often end up blessed by the encounter, even if they don't realize it. The chosen are spiritual conduits. They don't carry the burden of resentment because they know that holding on to poison only poisons the vessel. Instead, they break the cycle. They forgive not because they approve, but because they are too elevated to remain chained to pain. Their healing isn't just personal, it's generational. And those who thought they could break them end up witnessing miracles unfold in the aftermath. What truly sets the chosen apart is their access to hidden knowledge, ancient wisdom embedded in their soul. They know things they've never been taught. They feel truths they've never read. This isn't imagination. It's divine remembrance. Their spirit remembers what the mind was never trained to understand. That's why their presence feels unsettling to the spiritually blind. They hold keys to doors others don't even see. Their awareness isn't learned. It's inherited from lifetimes of spiritual refinement. And when they speak, the atmosphere shifts. Their words don't just inform, they awaken. They don't argue to prove, they speak to realign. And when someone tries to deceive them, they often smile, not because they don't know, but because they see far beyond the surface. This hidden wisdom becomes their armor. While others are moved by manipulation or distractions, the chosen see the deeper patterns. They're not easily fooled, and they don't need to expose what they already discern. They can read rooms, decode silence, and detect lies wrapped in smiles. That's why attacking them is so dangerous. They've already seen it coming. They might not say it, but they've already prayed about it, fortified their energy, and prepared for the fallout. You cannot outsmart someone who is spiritually awake. The battle ends before it even begins. And while others are playing checkers in the physical, the chosen are already several moves ahead in the spirit. One of their most powerful gifts is intuition. So sharp, it often feels supernatural. But for them, it's natural. They walk with divine timing. They make choices that defy logic, but align perfectly with destiny. When they feel something is off, they don't need evidence. They trust the signal. This intuition has saved them from relationships that would have destroyed them, deals that looked good but were traps, and paths that glittered with false promises. Their inner radar is a gift of protection, and those who mock their sensitivity often live to regret not listening when they chose to walk away. What seems irrational to the world is divine direction to a chosen one. Sometimes a chosen one will suddenly change their routine, cancel a plan, or distance themselves from someone who appeared kind. And days, weeks, or months later, the truth surfaces, exposing betrayal, lies, or danger that was hidden all along. This isn't coincidence, it's spiritual surveillance. They are covered by forces that see what they cannot. And because their assignment is too sacred, their detours are divinely ordered. Even when they don't understand it themselves, they obey the whisper. This obedience is their shield. That's why people who try to set them up often fall into the very trap they prepared. The chosen one may have walked away, but it was heaven that redirected their steps. To the outside world, their calm demeanor may seem naive, but their stillness is spiritual strategy. They do not speak on everything because they are in tune with what deserves their energy. They do not retaliate because they understand energetic consequences. They do not chase after what leaves because they know what's meant for them is protected by covenant. This restraint is not weakness, it is sovereignty, and it's what makes them unstoppable. You cannot break someone who knows when to be silent, when to move, and when to let the universe speak on their behalf. There are those who underestimated a chosen one because they mistook humility for passivity. But what they didn't realize is that spiritual intuition is not loud. It is precise. It is the reason a chosen one knows who to trust, when to leave, and when to remain still. It is why their life seems orchestrated by invisible hands, because it is. They move differently because they are listening to frequencies beyond this world, and that sensitivity is their weapon. It protects them, guides them, and exposes what needs to be seen. You may not understand how they know what they know, but by the time you figure it out, it's already too late. Chosen ones are surrounded by a shield that can't be seen by the naked eye, yet its presence is undeniable to anyone with spiritual sensitivity. This protective energy isn't something they put on. It's something they are. It's the residue of divine favor, the fragrance of a soul in alignment with God. When you stand near them, you can feel it. The atmosphere shifts, the air calms, the heart steadies. They carry the frequency of peace in a chaotic world, and those with dark intentions often feel an invisible resistance when trying to approach. That's not fear, it's recognition. Their spirit announces who they are before they ever speak, and anyone who tries to penetrate that barrier with harm will find themselves blocked, repelled, and eventually exposed. There are stories, unspoken, often unbelievable, about how chosen ones have narrowly escaped danger without ever understanding why. Moments where they were coincidentally delayed, only to discover they avoided tragedy. Times when something whispered, "Don't go," and they listened, only to be spared from betrayal or pain. These are not lucky breaks. These are divine interventions. The chosen ones don't walk alone. They are accompanied by legions of angels, ancestors, and spiritual guardians who ensure their path remains aligned. When someone sets out to harm them, those unseen forces step in, not with rage, but with precision. Events rearrange, truth surfaces, and suddenly, the ones who plotted against them are caught in their own confusion, wondering why nothing they planned is working anymore. This divine protection is so thorough that it often appears surreal. To outsiders, it looks like everything just works out for the chosen one. But what they don't see is the cost, the obedience, the spiritual discipline, the countless nights spent in silence and surrender. The chosen one has walked through fires most would never survive, and it was in those fires that their covenant was forged. They didn't choose the protection. It was assigned to them because of their willingness to carry out divine purpose. And so, heaven responds in kind. Every act of spiritual obedience is answered with supernatural preservation. And the more they align, the stronger their protection becomes. No weapon formed against them shall prosper, not because the weapons don't form, but because they're already covered in promises written before time began. It's not just divine protection that defines the chosen one, it's their resilience. When life hits them with betrayal, abandonment, or loss, they don't collapse, they evolve. They use pain as a portal. They allow heartbreak to deepen their wisdom. They don't avoid the fire, they absorb it, and somehow come out refined. Their strength is not loud, it's consistent. While others are shaken by storms, the chosen ones are the stillness in the eye of the hurricane. They may cry, fall, or bleed, but they always rise. And every time they rise, they return stronger, clearer, more radiant than before. This is why they are feared. Not because they are aggressive, but because nothing can hold them down. Their bounce back is not human, it's divine. Think of Job. Think of the man who lost everything, his wealth, his health, his family. And yet, he never cursed the source. He didn't understand his suffering, but he didn't surrender his soul to bitterness. And because of that, restoration came. The chosen ones carry that same spirit. They've been through seasons where they were misunderstood, slandered, abandoned, and still, they chose love. Still, they chose truth. Still, they chose their mission over their misery. That resilience becomes their proof. It silences every rumor and puts to shame every lie. Because no matter what is said or done to them, they continue walking in purpose. And that consistency terrifies the ones who hope to see them fall. Enemies of the chosen don't just want to see them fall, they want to watch them lose faith. But that's the one thing a chosen one never surrenders. Their faith is not built on circumstances, it's built on knowing. They've seen too much divine orchestration to doubt. They've survived too many impossible moments to waver. And when the attacks come, they don't collapse. They dig deeper, into prayer, into silence, into alignment. They don't fight with fists. They war in the spirit, and in that sacred space, they receive strength no human can grant. That's why retaliation never looks like revenge. It looks like restoration. While their enemies are watching and waiting, The chosen ones are being rebuilt in secret, and when they emerge, it's always with more clarity, more light, and more favor. To challenge a chosen one is to underestimate the endurance of a soul that has been tested in dimensions most cannot name. You're not dealing with someone who lives only in the material. They are multidimensional. They've already died 1,000 spiritual deaths and returned wiser every time. Their strength doesn't come from applause or validation. It comes from assignment. And because they are assignment-driven, they cannot be manipulated, controlled, or broken by circumstances. Even when life bruises them, they bless others. Even when doors close, they keep walking. And that is the kind of power this world cannot comprehend, nor conquer. A spiritual presence follows the chosen one wherever they go, one that doesn't need to speak to be felt. They walk into a space, and without saying a word, the energy rearranges. People either feel uplifted or exposed. That's because their soul emits a frequency that forces truth to surface. Their very existence is a catalyst for clarity. They don't need a stage, a title, or a spotlight to influence others. Their power lies in who they are, not what they perform. And that is what makes their presence so unsettling to those who live in pretense. The chosen ones carry such alignment with the divine that they naturally become mirrors, revealing what is hidden in others. And those who resist truth will often lash out, not realizing they're not at war with the chosen one, but with the conviction their soul provokes. What makes them even more powerful is that their influence doesn't come from manipulation or control. It comes from authenticity. They live what they speak. They walk what they preach. And that consistency causes ripple effects in their families, communities, and even nations. History has always been shaped by the misunderstood, those who were ridiculed for their truth until time revealed their righteousness. The chosen ones don't follow trends. They set spiritual tides. They awaken dormant gifts in others just by standing in their own. And that silent awakening becomes dangerous to systems that profit off of spiritual sleep. That's why institutions, groups, or even friendships may turn against them, not because of who they are, but because of what their presence awakens. This influence reaches deeper because it's guided by divine wisdom. Chosen ones aren't just intuitive, they are deeply wise. Their wisdom doesn't come from books alone. It's rooted in lifetimes of spiritual refinement. They know what to say and when to stay silent. They can see multiple outcomes from a single decision, and their foresight protects not just themselves, but all who walk with them. This makes them incredible guides, counselors, and visionaries. They speak with precision and act with intention. And while others are tossed by confusion, the chosen ones walk in clarity. Their wisdom is not for show, it's a tool for impact, and those who dismiss it often regret doing so. Because of this depth, they are rarely deceived. It's not that they don't experience betrayal, it's that they see it long before it surfaces. They often give people the chance to show their true selves, and when the mask falls, the chosen one is already 2 steps ahead. They move differently, not from arrogance, but from awareness. Their discernment is so sharp that they can sense energetic shifts before words are spoken. They can feel when someone's spirit has turned, even if their smile remains. And while others try to understand people through observation, the chosen one feels them through vibration. That's why betrayal doesn't break them. It confirms what their spirit already knew. This gift of foresight isn't limited to interpersonal dynamics. It also applies to purpose. The chosen ones are deeply aware of their mission. They may not know every detail, but they carry a knowing that cannot be shaken. Even when the road is unclear, they feel the pull of destiny guiding their steps. They walk by faith, not by sight, and that spiritual confidence becomes intimidating to those who walk only by logic. The chosen one's path is not linear, it's sacred. It twists, turns, and often feels lonely, but it is always leading them exactly where they need to be. And because of that inner knowing, they don't panic in seasons of delay. They trust the divine timing. They understand that their story was written before their birth, and no man can rewrite what God has ordained. What terrifies many is that chosen ones cannot be bought, bribed, or manipulated away from their path. They are loyal to the voice within, the divine whisper that leads them when the world screams for their attention. That loyalty makes them powerful beyond comprehension. Because they don't seek approval, they're not easy to control. Because they know who they are, they're not shaken by rejection. Because they serve a higher calling, they're not tempted by temporary rewards. They move with eternal purpose, and that eternal focus makes them dangerous to anyone whose power depends on illusion, distraction, or control. When a chosen one steps fully into their assignment, the spiritual realm shifts. Obstacles clear. Enemies fall silent. Resources appear out of nowhere. This is not magic. It's alignment. The universe recognizes a soul that is walking in divine truth and begins to collaborate. That's why those who tried to delay or diminish a chosen one often find themselves being bypassed, forgotten, or removed. You cannot stop what heaven has started. You cannot compete with a soul that was born for this. The more they align, the less they strive. And as they flow in purpose, they become untouchable, not because they are perfect, but because they are positioned. When someone attacks a chosen one, they're not just touching a single person. They're activating a spiritual ripple that circles back with multiplied force. The chosen are wired to transform energy, but when the offense reaches a certain threshold, when the betrayal is too sharp or the attack is too calculated, the universe steps in. It no longer allows the chosen to carry that weight alone. A divine response is initiated. It may not look like thunder from the sky, but it shows up in undeniable ways. Sudden loss, confusion, spiritual torment, closed doors. The universe keeps receipts, and when the balance is tipped too far, it recalibrates everything. Those who brought harm must sit with the weight of what they've done, and no apology can undo the energy they unleashed. The chosen may forgive, but the universe still responds. And what makes this correction even more sobering is that it doesn't always happen immediately. Sometimes the chosen one is long gone, healed, elevated, flourishing, and years later, the offender starts to feel the consequence. It creeps in through sickness, disconnection, or an unexplainable emptiness. That's when they realize they weren't just fighting a person, they were violating a divine timeline. The correction may be delayed, but it's never denied. And the longer it takes, the deeper it goes. That's why many people carry silent regret after mistreating a chosen one. They feel the loss in their soul, even if they can't name it. They remember the light they tried to dim, and by the time they understand its value, it's too far to reach. The legacy of a chosen one cannot be erased, even by those who tried to destroy it. In fact, every attack often multiplies their impact. Every setback becomes fuel. Every betrayal becomes a lesson. Every lie strengthens their truth. This is why trying to cancel or silence them never works. Their message carries spiritual backing. Their voice echoes through realms beyond the physical. Their presence outlives rumors, and their influence spreads beyond their own generation. What the enemy meant for evil always turns for good, and the chosen know this. That's why they rarely fight back. They let time, spirit, and purpose do what fists and words never could. Even in their absence, a chosen one leaves residue, an energetic signature that continues to shift lives. The people they touched, the words they spoke, the energy they embodied, it all lingers. And those who once took their presence for granted will feel that emptiness when they're gone, not out of ego, but because divine presence leaves a mark. And when you try to replace that with anything artificial, it never fits. Those who thought they could replace or replicate the chosen often realize that what they lost was not just a person. It was alignment. It was protection. It was a connection to the sacred. And once it's gone, there's no counterfeit that can fill that void. So why do people still try? Why challenge a soul that is so clearly set apart? The answer is simple. Darkness always tests the light. Insecure spirits are triggered by stable ones. Manipulators hate what they cannot control. And those who live in illusion will always resist those who carry divine clarity. The chosen one doesn't have to do anything to provoke resistance. Their very existence is a confrontation. They awaken what others try to suppress. They walk in authority without asking for it. And in doing so, they reveal what's false without needing to expose it. That's why so many fear them. Because when a chosen one is present, no lie can stay hidden for long. By now, it should be clear. Messing with a chosen one is never just about conflict. It's about challenging a spiritual order. It's about interfering with divine orchestration. And no matter how subtle or secret the harm may be, the spiritual realm sees it all. The chosen one may never speak on it, but the energy testifies. Their spirit cries out to the heavens, and the heavens respond. You cannot silence what was sent to awaken. You cannot curse what was born to bless. The more resistance they face, the more the universe elevates them, and every setback becomes a setup for greater alignment. What was meant to destroy them only reveals their invincibility. So if you've ever been mistreated for simply being who you are, know this: your presence is not the problem, it's the proof. The attacks confirm your assignment. The resistance validates your calling. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to shift realities. And every time someone tries to reduce you, heaven prepares to reveal you. Stand firm in who you are. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable. You were chosen to shine in places where darkness thought it had won. And every attempt to stop you only proves how unstoppable you really are. Chosen one, your existence is not an accident. It is a calculated strike of light into a world overwhelmed by shadow. Every attempt to break you has only revealed the strength of your spirit. Every door that closed pushed you closer to the one meant for you. Every betrayal became the chisel that carved your character. And while others saw ruin, the divine saw refinement. You didn't come here to blend in. You came to disrupt the patterns that keep humanity asleep. And though the cost has been high, the reward is eternal. Because in every moment of pain, you were becoming the very weapon darkness fears most. A soul that cannot be broken, silenced, or stopped. You are what divine resilience looks like. Let this be the moment you stop questioning your journey. Let this be the day you stop apologizing for your power. The reason they attacked you wasn't because you were weak. It was because you were carrying something sacred. Your presence exposes everything that isn't real. Your energy purifies whatever it touches. And your silence speaks louder than their noise ever could. If you're still standing after everything they threw at you, type untouchable in the comments right now and declare it with your whole spirit. And please, like this video if you feel the truth vibrating through you. And don't forget to subscribe. This channel exists to awaken what the world tried to suppress in you. Let your soul keep receiving these messages. Let your light keep rising. I want to thank especially those who support us through Buy Me a Coffee. Your generosity fuels this mission and allows us to go deeper every single time. If you feel called to support this work, the link is in the first pinned comment below. As we close, I invite you to continue this journey. Watch the video that's now on your screen. It holds a revelation that will meet you exactly where you are. These messages are not just content, they're soul codes. And never forget, you're not just chosen, you're divinely dangerous to darkness.